Hello happy souls, welcome back to my channel. This is Charlotte with Happy Twins 1111 and I've got a lovely long reading for you today as always. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. As you know, I hit like 50,000 subs. I'm still completely mind blown by this, but you guys have been so super generous. The donations really flooded in after that last video and I just can't thank you enough. You really are so special and I'm so overwhelmed with gratitude for the support that you show me. And you know, you guys really do dig deep and I'm just so very grateful. Thank you. And I want to say thank you to those of you, not just the subscribers and not just those of you that hit the like button, but the ones that watch my adverts as well, because that's a really nice energy exchange. A minute of your time for a free video and I get a small bit of revenue for that, and it really helps, and it just feels like you're all really stepping up in that respect. And you also sent me presents. Look at this, you're so kind. So this one, the Elemental Power Tarot, this was a gift from Helen Mack. Helen, she actually said in her message with this that she really wants to be one of my students, and actually she must have picked up a last minute spot for my surrender class because she's just started studying with me. Helen, so delighted to get to know you. Thank you for these. You really are an angel. I'm not using them today because the court cards are a bit complicated. They're not the easiest to read and I need to spend some time with this deck before I use it on my channel, but thank you. It's much appreciated. And these little beauties, which we will use today, I don't know who these were from. It didn't come with a note, so if you sent me these, thank you so much. And guys, I really appreciate it when you donate decks. It does help to keep my channel fresh. If you would like to exchange energy, you can find my PayPal link and a link to my Amazon wishlist down below. Again, it's not necessary. I appreciate you just being here, just watching the adverts, or even just watching the video. All of it helps my channel grow and I'm just so grateful. So thank you so much. Anyway, let's get this reading on the road. This wasn't the title I'd intended for the reading today, but it's the one I feel guided to do. What does your person want to say to you that they're too afraid to say? So this is kind of messages from your person, but we're digging really deep into the difficult kind of topics that they are genuinely too afraid to raise with you. Perhaps they can't speak to you, perhaps they won't speak to you. For whatever reason, these are the things that are on their mind that they want you to know that they just can't say. I've got 3 piles for you. Pile number 1 is the Illest Tarot with Amethyst. Pile number 2 is the Crystal Unicorn Tarot with Amazonite. Pile number 3 is the Way of the Panda Tarot with this Rose Quartz point. So there's no right or wrong way to choose a pile. Just pause the video if you want, see which one you're the most drawn to. You might be drawn to more than one, that's cool as well. It just means there's messages in more than one pile for you. So let's do this. I'm going to move piles 2 and 3 out of the way. I have to apologise. You know what? This winter light really isn't doing me any favours. You see all these shadows on my desk? This is where the sun is pouring in and all of my crystals are creating this kind of shadowy stuff. It keeps coming and going, but such is the light in my new workspace. Anyway, you have chosen the Illest Tarot with Amethyst pile 1. This is one of my favourite decks. It features 90s icons. Maybe that's significant to you. I'm going to get some message cards and some charms for you today as well as oracle cards. And again, we're asking, what does this person really need you to know? What do they want to say the most that they're absolutely too afraid of? These aren't necessarily love messages. You know, it's just what do they need you to know about themselves, about their circumstances, about you, about this connection. This isn't a reading just for twin flames, so please don't get hung up on that. You may be a soulmate, you may have no soul connection. You know, they're all about love, healing, self-love, healthy relationships. They're for everybody. Okay. And also, actually, this is really relevant while I'm shuffling. You know, when I do this and I split them and I shuffle them like this, what I'm actually doing is some cards are going to be upside down when I do it like that. And that's when they come out as reversed. I've had quite a few comments recently asking about reversals or suggesting I shouldn't read with the reversals. This is how I read. It's how I've always read. It's how many other tarot readers read. But I want to just reassure you that a reverse card isn't a bad thing. It's just a blocked energy. So don't worry about it. You know, it just gives me another way to read it. Rather than 78 cards to read, I've got, you know, double that, because the reverse meaning can add detail to the message as it's intended. So please relax. It's not a bad thing when you see lots of reversals. It just means a blocked energy and that sun has gone in a bit for us, which makes it easier to see the cards. Okay, what's your person saying, pile 1? The Empress. What a beautiful card to come out here. The Hermit. The Devil in reverse, my goodness. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. The Queen of Pentacles. The Eight of Swords in reverse. The King of Swords in reverse. And the 10 of Wands in reverse. This is really beautiful and really, really powerful. I'm going to get some of these cards as well. This is the Musical Oracles deck. These were a gift from Vera. She's also one of my lovely students. Thank you, Vera. We've got Bob Dylan. We have got Freddie Mercury. Love him. We've got Maria Callas. And one more from this side. And we have got Janis Joplin. Okay, I'm going to get some of these lovely little Lenormand cards that the mystery gift person sent me. Thank you for these. If you sent me these, I didn't get a message with them, so I don't know who they were from, but thank you. Appreciate it so much. Okay, we've got the key. We have the tree. We have the moon. And we have the lady. Oh, part one. These are really beautiful energies. The first thing that your person is telling me is that you really are a divine feminine. You know, they are so in awe. Awe-inspired is what I'm hearing. They are so in awe of your fabulousness. I mean, this is someone that sees your divine femininity. They are somewhat intimidated by your ability to manifest, but I'm hearing that they're learning to rise above this. This person is growing as a result of your growth. You've inspired them to be their best self. This person's feeling it all. And we've got Sade and Reese Witherspoon here. I don't know if any of these celebrities that are appearing are relevant to you guys. But for this to be clarified by the Queen of Pentacles is a really profoundly beautiful energy. What I'm hearing is this person wants you to know that they recognise you are the one. They recognise that you are the long-term partner that they've always dreamed of and always wanted. You know, they see all of the wonderful things about you, and I'm hearing that they don't show that, but they want you to know that they see it, that they really have recognised that you stand apart from every person they've ever been involved with, romantically, lovingly or otherwise. They just think you are so, so very special. And I know it's a Sade tune, but it just jumped into my mind. This is no ordinary love. You know, this person really recognised that there's something otherworldly and quite magical and beautiful about this connection, and they do want to nurture it. They feel so much care and affection for you, but they are in this hermit energy. Now, I'm hearing this is not a bad thing. They're saying that they're staying in this hermit energy because you've shown them that that's what they need to do. You've demonstrated how to heal, how to be your best self, how to find yourself, how to heal all of those inner wounds, and how to have a healthy relationship. And this person, as a result of this inner reflection, a result of taking this time to themselves, and I'm hearing that they did have mental health concerns as well, which they perhaps weren't able to talk to you about really honestly, but they're resolving this now. They're releasing anxiety. With this Eight of Swords in reverse, this person is letting go. They're letting go of all of those very limiting beliefs that kept them stuck, that kept them trapped. They're learning to love themselves just like you have shown them how. I'm hearing it is slow progress, and they're still not really sure how to move forward, and they still don't know how to have a healthy relationship. This person is suddenly aware of their own codependence and the codependence that has existed in their previous relationships. It's demonstrated here by this devil energy. The fact it's in reverse is communicating to me that even though they're aware of their codependence, they haven't yet resolved it. And the King of Swords in reverse clarifying this indicates that they just don't have that clarity. They don't know yet. They're still kind of all up in their head trying to figure it out. They don't realise that it's an energetic transformation. They're definitely not as evolved or far along as you are, but they are trying, they're seeing. There's a great deal of awareness here. But this person's also saying to you, this can't work right now. And I'm hearing that they're sorry they've not said this to your face. I feel like this person probably ghosted you or disappeared without much explanation. And they're just saying, I'm really sorry this can't work right now because I'm not ready to take this responsibility. Right now, I don't feel like I can take care of myself. Right now, I feel like, my life isn't working out how I needed it or wanted it to. And I need to focus on really bringing myself and my life and my material world back into balance. I'm not ready to take on the responsibility of a commitment or a serious relationship. And I do sense a lot of regret around that. They really wish things were different. Bob Dylan showing up here. Nostalgia is for two-time losers. Don't mistake that mansion for the hill. Darkness may be falling, but we're not there yet. So for me, this is just indicative of, that they are embracing the way forward. They're recognizing that they're going to have to crawl through shit before they can emerge into the sunshine. And Bob Dylan for me is such a melancholy energy. It is a little bit indulgent when it comes to sorrow. And I do feel, as I said, that they've come out of a kind of depressive episode, but they are getting back on their feet. They're recognizing that, okay, things don't feel great right now, but through your experience, through you sharing your survival, you're not just surviving, but thriving, they have now got this chink and spark of optimism and faith that they can actually move forward and feel better and feel good and have all of the things they wanted. It's not a big chink or spark of optimism, but it's enough to keep this person going. I'm a big fan of Freddie Mercury, and I'm really guided that this is presenting as Queen of Cups energy as well, which is the energy of self-love, unconditional love, and emotional mastery. And it does say here, a dramatic life is better than being dramatic about life. Extravagance is the wicked stepmother of invention. There's nothing more precious than frivolity. So I'm hearing that this whole depressed, hermiting energy may not sound real to you because this person appears to be out there having a good time. There's definitely a big musical connection here. I do feel that really strongly, but I feel like this person indulges in those kind of events, interactions with others. Perhaps they play music themselves or have musical ability, but this person is finding peace in distracting behaviours. So just because they've disconnected from you but appear to be still connected to other people, they're asking you to not take this personally. They do feel this about, when they say, I haven't got time, I can't do this right now, you feel like it's an excuse because you see them having a life without you. And you're saying, well, how come you can have a life over there but not over here? And what they're trying to explain here is that kind of distracting behaviours, this partying, this having fun, this musical kind of social life perhaps, is actually what's allowing them to just have some downtime, to step away from this deep hermit energy, this kind of mental health issues and anxiety. It allows them to just be free to step into a youthful, joyful energy. They're asking you not to take that personally. Maria Callas, compromise is the energy of perfection. Befriend your inner serpent. You cannot survive on sensation alone. And so, this is really interesting. Befriend your inner serpent. The serpent is the energy of creation. And as I said, I feel like this person is shedding skin. They are creating something new, but they're not yet able to ground that. We've talked about this on my channel before, but there's an in-between place between knowing and being. Learning something, understanding it, and even accepting it as truth doesn't mean that you can immediately step into that energy. Yeah, it's, I know that you guys are sitting there, you know what self-love means. You can understand and know all the benefits of having self-love, but becoming someone that has self-love is a completely different energy. And so this person's in that in-between state, and they're recognizing that really they're not going to be challenged to really learn this stuff until they take action. But I'm hearing that they're just not ready for it yet. They're not ready for compromise. I do pick up a lot of Virgo energy in this reading. That won't be relevant to all of you. But if it's not necessarily a Virgo person, Virgo energy is very focused, very organised, but it's also very measured. It's not the most impulsive energy. Someone that likes to dot all the I's and cross all the T's before they move forward. It's a kind of risk-averse energy. And so this person is, very hesitant about moving forward. And compromise is mentioned twice here. We've got this with the Janis Joplin. Evolve but don't compromise. You're all you've got. The power of love must replace the love of power. You are greater than the sum of your fears. And I feel this is an awareness they're stepping into. And they just want you to know that they are getting there. Just because you've not had feedback, just because you can't see this progress and transformation happening, they just want to reassure you that they are evolving and that they recognise the need to dismantle their ego and have a healthier perspective of love and life. As I said though, they're in that in-between place. Knowing isn't being, and they just don't know how to be in that energy yet. They're still learning. I do feel that this person, they just feel like you have given them a key. You've given them a key that opens a door to unconditional love. This is number 33, which reduces to 6. And, you know, through that experience, they're now able to grow, transform and transition. This card is actually really interesting for demonstrating that in-between state, because 5 is about transition, transformation. But here we see this tree growing on an island surrounded by water. Now, water represents our emotional depths. This is also the 7 of Cups, which is about illusion and daydreams. And so I feel like they just haven't grounded this truth. You know, this really perfectly represents that transformational in-between state, which is really uncomfortable. You know, is that they're still on this island. They've not connected the truth to the mainland yet. And they're still a little bit overwhelmed emotionally. Again, this is another number 5 card. 32 reduces to 5. This is the 8 of Cups this time. This is the energy of inner mastery, inner truth seeking, inner self-discovery, tapping into our intuitive self. And the moon is all about intuition and emotion. So I do feel this person is learning to trust. You know, they want you. You are their lady. Now, for some of you, because this is an 11 card, that can be a very karmic number. It's also the Ace of Swords here, which is a symbol of truth, honesty, clarity, communication. Sorry for my dog barking there. So I do feel like, because this is facing into the past, that someone, I think it could be you or them actually, but there's a connection to their past here that still tugs at their heart, that still presents a karmic lesson that needs to be resolved. They may or may not be in this relationship. As I said, the fact that it's facing backwards tell me it's something that's been and gone, but karma still remains, lessons still remain. And so I think this is what they're talking about learning to have healthier relationships and trying to figure out the right way forward. You know, above all else, I think this person is asking you to be patient. You know, they haven't perhaps communicated with you for some time. They're keeping an eye on you at a distance, but, you know, they just need you to know how grateful they are for shifting their opinion and perception of life. You know, they really are learning. And even though they can't be with you because they need to make their life work, and I don't know what that means, that's something you're going to have to figure out for yourself, because it will be different for each of you. But I keep hearing that really strongly. I have to make my life work. I'm hearing this too is connected to like that self-worth issues. They probably hold some kind of false belief about what has to happen before they can move forward, but they're releasing those limiting beliefs. Remember, you know, they're on their way there. Right, we're going to get some charms and message cards for you as well. Oh, that one was meant to come out. We have got Fix a Broken Heart, which is in a bottle. So that's very revealing. We've got the Camera. We have got Black Like My Heart. And we have got the White Rabbit. I'm just going to get some messages from them and messages from Spirit for guidance. Let's get the messages from them first. Oh, okay, these fell out. Oh, I missed this one. Look. So I've just seen this other little charm down here. It's so tiny I can barely pick it up. Okay, got it. This is like this teeny tiny little winged heart that's come out for you guys as well. Message number 1. I get so carried away with the energy and then I panic and run. It's intense and beautiful but scary. I am ready. I'm trying, but I'm so scared. Please be patient with me. My heart is so heavy with the pain of the past. I need time to heal. One more. How can you truly love and accept me if you cannot love and accept yourself? So I think the most revealing one here, and I said, you know, they were out and about being social, fix a broken heart. This person may be turning to the bottle. They may have alcohol dependency that they've been keeping from you. Either way, they're using an external, I don't know why that's not focused, an external coping mechanism to try and support that healing that they're going through. I'm hearing this is misguided, but it's also part of their learning. Now, it does say here, I get so carried away with the energy and then I panic and run. I just feel like this person has been really unfair in charging forward and then stepping away again. And I say unfair, they don't mean to be. It can feel very unjust. I know it feels unjust to you, but I am picking up a lot of shame associated with this energy of coming and going, because I think they do demonstrate when you are actually together how beautiful it feels, and you feel all of that magic, and then you're bewildered and incredulous that they've run again. But this person is terrified of facing that energy. As much as it's beautiful for them, it's also triggering all of their deepest fears. And again, it came up earlier that they may have left without much word, ghosted you, no explanation. I feel like this person's afraid to discuss it with you because it does mean acknowledging some deep feelings. So it's not an easy conversation to have. You know, they can't just turn around and say, look, I run away because actually I'm madly in love with you. That would be far too vulnerable. You know, this person is just trying to take their time to heal, and they don't know how to communicate that in a way that's truthful, authentic, and isn't going to confuse you. And again, I'm ready, I'm trying, but I'm scared. Please be patient with me. You know, I feel like this whole reading has been centered on this person really actually turning their lives around, and you needing to know that. And I'm hearing it's because some of you are getting impatient, even though you're in a much better place. You're in this surrender energy and you're feeling much more powerful. You've done so much healing. You know, there is still that energy of frustration and impatience there, and they sense that. They know you're getting annoyed with them. This person's keeping a very close eye on you. You know, when a camera comes up for me, and what does it say on here? It says instant lens, focus, range. So I just feel like they're probably following you on Instagram, social media platforms, looking through old photos. There's a little message box here in the corner. I just feel like this person is really keeping tabs on you, spying on you. Spying's such a mean word. It's such a stalkerish word. Not as if spying, but, you know, I'm hearing it brings them great comfort to kind of follow up on what you're doing. And this little winged heart, everyone interprets this symbol differently, but for me, this is a love that's taken flight. You know, this is, and once love takes flight, it's kind of, it's free, isn't it? And I just feel like they're, you know, it's like their love for you has been liberated. And in loving you, they're learning to love themselves, which in itself is also liberation. Black like my heart. So this person is very afraid that you may see them as they really are. They're also saying that their life is quite dark right now, that they're very, very triggered. They've definitely put you on this pedestal where they think that, you know, they're not good enough, they're going to hurt you. And I feel like this is why they're keeping their distance also. They don't want to hurt you. And they're recognizing that at the moment they're in a very toxic energy that, you know, certainly isn't going to have the desired outcome as far as a healthy, balanced relationship is concerned. With this white rabbit, you know, I want you to know that I am triggered by the running and the waiting also. I run because I'm triggered. I'm in such a hurry. This is about moving towards unity. I'm really guided to how the clock, the big hand points at number 9. That's hermit energy, which has come up here. It's the energy of solitude, power, inner reflection. And the little hand is on number 1, the energy of the magician, self-mastery, empowerment. The magician is, you know, he knows what to do. He's magic. And so I feel this is what he's running towards. It may feel like he's running away, but he's saying, look, I've got to catch up. I'm late. You know, I have to find myself. I have to make my life work. Again, that saying has come up again. I have to make my life work. He really wants to fix things. He wants to be the best version of himself for you. I feel guided to get a couple more tarot cards. That wasn't my plan, but I'm just going to follow what I'm guided. And I'm guided to ask, he needs you to know what's blocking him. What's blocking him? 2 of Swords, Death, and the 5 of Swords in reverse. So again, this is that indecision. It's that inner conflict. The energy of wanting something so badly, but being so afraid to go after it and to actually decide to take that leap of faith. Death, I think we've already brought this message through. This is that energy of transformation and transition that they're in, that in-between place. This is also Scorpio energy. And remember, we're in Scorpio season right now. Scorpio is the energy of darkness. Scorpio is very comfortable in the dark, but it's also the energy of resurrection. You know, this reminds us that sometimes we have to go to that dark place so that we can rise back into the light. And so I feel like this person's saying, you know, I'm indecisive because I'm scared, not because I don't love you. And with this 5 of Swords in reverse, I do feel like this person's very afraid of hurting you. They may have a history of abuse or violence in their past that they're now facing and becoming aware of. This won't be true for all of you, but this person is very concerned about conflict, particularly violent conflict, and they just don't want to hurt you. They're aware of their own shortcomings. They're aware of their own inability to engage in a healthy relationship because they've never had one. And so it does feel like a tremendous risk. and it's your risk. You know, that's how they see it. It's like it's you that will end up getting hurt. So that this is one of the other things that's blocking them, that they've got to heal this about themselves. And perhaps what this is, this karma, or this thing in their history connected to another woman with unresolved karma. Perhaps that's what that's about. Is that they have to address their own abusive tendencies. And of course, it's not healthy for you to be with someone that is like that. At least they're being honest enough to withdraw and to not put you through that. All right, so messages for you from Spirit. This is a new beginning. There's no going back. Are you willing to accept this person as they are, and you are not being honest with yourself? Part 1. This suggests to me that you have turned a corner. This is a new chapter, and regardless of what happens next, there is no going backwards. Things are in this fast moving forward motion now, and you are on the right trajectory. Are you willing to accept this person as they are? I feel like this is coming through because this is what they probably need to hear from you at some point. They do have a very dim view of themselves. They're seeing themselves as not worthy of you. I know that's really common in these kind of connections, and the whole masculine ego being triggered fiercely. But at the end of the day, they really don't know if you can accept them as they are. And I think that's going to help them come forward and step into their power. Now, I have to say, if this violence stuff is prevalent for you guys, that is something you can't accept. And we have to recognize that unconditional love doesn't require someone to be present in your life. You have to love yourself enough first to recognize when other people's behaviors are potentially harmful for you, and to withdraw no matter how you feel about them when that's the case. So, I say this with caution because yes, we should demonstrate unconditional love and acceptance, but in real life, in the real world, there has to be some conditions. We call these healthy boundaries. But as an example, I love my kids unconditionally, but that doesn't mean they can, kick me in the face or steal from me. That there has to be some conditions to living and interacting with others to help us have a balanced, fair and comfortable society, an environment to live in. And so this is true of any relationship. You can still love and accept a person without actually being in their zone of awareness. So this is calling you to just accept them as they are. They're very aware of your judgments, and I'm hearing that you might not be aware of the judgment you hold. So you're being asked to dig deep in that respect, and to figure out how you're still judging them and how this person may still be energetically feeling that. And there's also a message here about really figuring out what unconditional love means to you and the difference between healthy boundaries and barriers, because you're not being honest with yourself, part 1. I feel like you were the sort of person that really has thrown yourself headfirst into all this healing. You've worked really, really hard to get yourself where you are now. And I do just get such a lovely light energy from you. But I do feel this has been at the expense of avoiding your deeper shadow aspects. I feel like you're so good at picking yourself up and soothing yourself and keeping a positive mindset that actually you're able to turn away from the pain that's brought forward by triggers, and that doesn't always serve you. And I feel like your person's higher self is stepping in here and saying, this is the next chapter of your journey now. You've learned how to cope. You've learned all of these fabulous skills that help you stay happy, stay aligned, stay positive. But triggers and pain serves to teach us, and you're now being asked to be brave enough in recognition of your ability to pull yourself out of dark energies, to allow yourself to visit them when it serves you. When we're triggered, the goal is not to ignore the trigger and feel better again. The goal is to first address it and to recognize why you're hurting in the first place, to sit with that long enough for you to gain some clarity and understanding. Of course, the skill and this beautiful divine feminine mastery comes in when you're able to elevate yourself from those energies, because it doesn't serve us to stay in them. We have to revisit our past and our pain, but we don't want to stay there. And so I feel like your person's reassuring you that you're able to do that now. I'm picking up this bottle again. I felt really guided to fix a broken heart. This might be something you have in common, a tendency to self-soothe with alcohol. If this is you, this is something you need to face as well, and recognise that this too is a coping strategy for avoiding or numbing pain. So I really hope that was helpful, part 1. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a joy as always. Thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for watching my adverts. It really is a tremendous help, and you are the best. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hello, pile 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Crystal Unicorn Tarot with Amazonite. My lovely friend Derek has taken up residence on my table. I'm going to politely ask him to move in a moment. But while I'm shuffling, we can leave him there. Now, today we're asking, what does your person want to say to you? This isn't just messages from your person. This is what they really want to say that they can't say. Perhaps you're not talking. It's what they need you to know about them, about this situation, all of the things that are, perhaps not even above the level of their own conscious awareness. Perhaps these are things that they don't truly and consciously understand themselves. A lot of this is coming from their higher self, but it's intended to bring you comfort, to bring you reassurance, and also to act as guidance, to help you move in the right direction. These readings aren't just for twin flames or soulmates. They can be for anyone that's experiencing a relationship of some kind. They're all about healing and having healthy relationships and looking at the shadow aspects of self. That's what my readings really encompass. So welcome. If you haven't joined me before, please hit the subscribe button. Then we can meet again and we can be friends. Okay, Derek, can I politely ask you to budge, please? Please, he's going to move over. I think it's always a blessing to have a cat in your reading. His tail's going to stay there. Stubborn old goat he is. Okay. Derek, let me just check there's enough room for the cards. Yeah, hopefully you still be able to see them. Okay, what does your person want to say to you? Pile 2, we have got the Emperor in reverse. We've got the Four of Wands. Isn't that beautiful? We've got the Six of Cups. Oh my goodness, this is so lovely. We've got the Hierophant. We have got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, the Sun, the King of Cups, and the Six of Swords. Derek, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to just shunt you along a bit further. Do you know this cat's obsessed with my crystals? He likes to sprawl out across them. Just a little bit more, my man. Good boy. Thank you. Okay. So, I'm going to use the Musical Oracle as well. These are a gift from Vera. Thank you, Vera. We've got Bob Marley, One Love. We've got Elvis Presley and the King. We have got Kurt Cobain. We're all in this mess together. And Kate Bush, Never Let Go of Mystery. And from this lovely little Lenormand deck from a mystery buyer, thank you for these, we have got the Sickle, the Mountain, the Sun, and the Whip. Okay, so what does this person want to say to you that they're too afraid to say out loud, or perhaps they just don't know how to say, or perhaps they don't consciously recognize what they need to say or what they're really thinking and feeling? I'm going to pull some charms for you and some message cards as well. But let's start here. So first up, I feel like this person's saying, this could never work right now because I'm in very distorted masculine energy. My ego is out of control. I don't see what's good for me right now. I'm still obsessed with the idea of being successful in my material world. And I do feel like this person harbours very, very deep feelings for you, but they are too prideful to admit these. They are terrified of you. They see you as being much stronger than them. And, I'm hearing that they are a perpetual game player. They probably hang on every word that Neil Strauss wrote in that book, The Game. They're all about being coercive, staying in control, keeping face, presenting themselves to the world as powerful. But I do feel that this person is recognizing deep down, perhaps at a subconscious level, that right now they can't commit to something like this because they're absolutely not ready. They also feel very overwhelmed by the energies that are presenting. Now, for the Four of Wands and the Six of Cups to come up, I do feel there's a very clear message here that this person recognizes this as a divine connection. They know that there is something very spiritual, very soulful, very weird about this. They may not have the label of twin flame or soulmate or something like that, but they do recognize that it's something really special and different. And they're trying to make sense of that. I'm hearing that this person fantasizes about you all of the time. You know, you are their happy place. You are the fantasy or daydream that they go to when they just need to escape from themselves. Escape from themselves, I think, is really important, because it really is this energy of, they may feel like they're running from you, but really they're running away from themselves. They're rejecting themselves. I'm hearing that this person, in one respect, feels like they are their best version of themselves with you, but they also don't recognize this version of themselves that's presenting, because they've never felt like this before. And so again, it's this feeling of intimidation, and they're so fearful that you're going to take control and they're going to lose face. We've got this whip energy here, and I just feel like you're such a powerful, strong person, and they're really intimidated. For them, they can't let go of this idea that it's a competition that they have to win, and they're not used to giving in. You know, this person's used to pursuing relationships with people that they know they have the upper hand with. You know, they normally get into relationships where they know the other person feels more about them than they do. And so that helps them feel safe. It helps them feel less vulnerable, because it helps them believe they're in control. There is so much energy about control right now. So at a deeper level, in their subconscious, they're recognizing that this isn't going to work. I do feel that this person probably has got work problems. I feel like they've really bigged themselves up for you. They've created this image of this person they want you to believe they are, which isn't entirely true. This could mean that they've exaggerated or ad-libbed about their career, you know, how they were raised, how they live, who they spent time with. You know, they're really trying to give you the impression that there's something big and special. And this is the kind of energy they're used to impressing upon people. But you know, they've recognized that in this instance it hasn't served them, and so there is some shame and embarrassment connected to this. You know, that at some point they're going to have to come clean, and they feel far too vulnerable to trust themselves to do that. This person is hiding very, very deep feelings for you. As I said, they're aware that there's something soulful and very magnetic here, and this King of Cups energy really demonstrates just how deep those feelings go. But the King of Cups is also very secretive. Now, this is Scorpio energy, and we are in Scorpio season. So all of these energies are going to be very much exaggerated and kind of brought to the surface. And this person's feeling very triggered by that. I'm hearing that it's actually very difficult for them to keep a lid on their emotions. And this is why instead they choose to detach, to run away. And they may not be running literally. Perhaps this person's still communicating with you, but they're blowing hot and cold. They're not being authentic with you. They're not showing up and not kind of stepping into the truth. So yeah, this King of Cups energy, this is someone that probably presents as really mysterious, and they know how powerful this is. You know, they know that being mysterious, holding something back, is what's going to keep you hooked. What they're not realizing is that you're hooked anyway, because of this beautiful, soulful, spiritual connection, and that it's safe for them to be true and real with you. But they're not seeing that. Right now, they're absolutely hell-bent on just keeping control, keeping themselves winning is how they perceive it. This person emotionally is a bit of an island anyway. They're not used to expressing their feelings. They're not used to demonstrating vulnerability. They're certainly not used to just, you know, being in the energy of love. What's really wonderful about this is this Hierophant and the Six of Swords. I feel like you have opened you have opened their mind to a different way of being. They are in this very transformative energy where they're starting to perceive life and relationships in a very different way, and they're transitioning from that place to a new one. And they're kind of relieved to move forward is what I'm hearing, because despite being in this player energy of, you know, always jumping from one relationship to another, keeping control, they have actually felt very lonely. They have actually dreamt about something more. And it feels like, even though that's something that deep down they wanted, now it's arrived, they're very triggered by it. And so when the kind of, I'm really drawn to how in this card, you know, this King of Cups, sorry for the wobbly camera, in this King of Cups you see these kind of rough seas around him. And again, in this Six of Swords, you see these rough seas in the foreground. You know, this is why they run. They really want to try and get away from these unsettled emotions, which, even though they're kind of sort of addictive and they quite like it, it just makes them feel too unstable. And so this is why they run. But I do feel like this person is having a word with themselves. You know, I'm hearing, I'm trying to talk myself out of this. I know that this isn't the right thing to do. And so that awareness is very powerful. Now, even though the energies here are quite different from pile 1, there's also some similarities. So if this is resonating, you may want to check out pile 1 as well. But with this Bob Marley energy, you know, one love. This is so beautiful and so powerful. A small axe can fell the tallest tree. The fruits of Babylon are rotten to the core. Everything that is holy is among us here on earth. That's a really, what's the word? Profound message that we get in there. And of course, Bob Marley is all about one love. I'm hearing that song may actually mean something to you guys, or there's a connection somewhere to Bob Marley. But, you know, this person is starting to recognize that masculinity doesn't have to be secretive or controlled, that it can be vulnerable. I feel like he is looking for influences like this. You know, he's exploring the energy of love in men. If your person isn't a man, it's about divine masculine energy. It's about looking into storylines, music and other experiences to try and understand love in a deeper, more meaningful way. This person's recognizing the need for change. They're recognizing that it's not healthy for them to desire to always be in control, but their ego is strong. This person thinks they're the king, okay? And, you know, it says in person. And I feel like they show up as this energy, but deep down, this isn't who they are. It says, never let reality stand in your way. Keep heaven on speed dial. And for me, this is that player energy of, you know, ignoring their own shortcomings, because if they play the game, they can stay in control. It doesn't matter who they are. It's almost like they found a magic formula for success in relationships. Really, they're not real relationships. There's no longevity or truth or passion or honor in these connections. But again, it keeps them safe. So the ego is big in this one. Now, Kurt Cobain, I'm really drawn to how he's underwater in this image. And, you know, there's all of these energies floating around, sunglasses, which indicate not seeing clearly. And I think this is a bullet. We've got bleach here, which is about, you know, cleansing things. There's money. And of course, the baby, that representation of the inner child. And I just feel like, in fact, what does this little sticker say? Oh, smells like teen spirit. You know, I just feel like this person has wounds connected to their teenage years or their youth, these kind of depressive shadow energies that make them feel like they're drowning. They're very reluctant to face the truth of these things. And I feel like you have triggered all of this to rise to the surface. And again, this has also made them feel more vulnerable. It says here you can't buy teen spirit, and I just feel like this person hasn't grown beyond their years. Something happened to them in their teenage years that they haven't discussed with you, and they're probably not recognizing that they're kind of stuck in the trauma of that time. But really, this is what's presenting. This is what's stunted their emotional growth and their ability to have healthy relationships. And I do feel like this is starting to bubble up to the surface. I'm hearing it's about firing shots in the dark. That's such an obscure message, but it just feels like they are trying to find why they're like this and not hitting the target. But there is this kind of desire to change. There's this desire to learn. This person's definitely been Googling what this could be between you. You know, this whole soulmate thing, twin flame thing. Again, they might not have labels, but they are trying to understand what's happening to them because they're recognizing they've been stirred very deeply. Kate Bush, never let go of the mystery. Their arrows of desire are sometimes dipped in poison. And I feel like this is their greatest fear, you know, that they've hurt a lot of people. And so they're very aware that, okay, so this is the energy of, you know, people that have behaved in unkind ways are more likely to be suspicious and aware of the ability of others to do the same. When we're genuinely decent people and we're really naive and we're really sweet and we treat everyone with respect, we're less suspicious because it's inconceivable to us that someone could behave that way, so we don't see it coming. Now, the danger of having been in this energy of being cold, calculated, controlling, is that you're hyper suspicious. Because you can't trust yourself to be decent, it's really difficult to trust others. And so they're recognizing that desire and love isn't always safe, that sometimes it can present as being very engaging and happy and, stable, when in fact it's not, because these are the illusions that they've created for others themselves. And so there is this kind of energy of them getting a taste of their own medicine and not trusting you, judging you by their own benchmark, of judging you by their own, I guess, by their own faults. And I think that that's really common with damaged people. They judge others by, how they would expect themselves to react, respond and behave. So they expect to have the same kind of spitefulness, vindictiveness, coerciveness, all of those negative shadow things that this person's found themselves in as a result of all this teenage trauma. They're expecting you to kind of give them a taste of their own medicine. And it's further indicated here with the whip. This person feels like you're in control. And the reason they feel like you're in control is not because you've demonstrated these behaviours, but because they are so focused on how their own behaviours have been controlling, and they're expecting you to be the same. And so there's an important message here for you, part two. What this person is saying is, I judge you by my own standards, not by yours. And right now I can't see past the end of my own nose. So not to take it personally that this person isn't rushing forward. They're very overwhelmed by this. It feels like a tremendous mountain to climb, and they really don't know what they're going to find on the other side. The sun has come up twice for you, and I'm hearing again that you really are their happy place, and it's this energy that they cling to. But there's also this energy of not wanting to risk bringing it into their reality, that whilst they keep this as this kind of beautiful dream state, it's easier for them to embrace it and allow it and enjoy it. Once this idea comes to the surface of translating it into reality, they start to feel threatened and scared. I know this sounds like really illogical energy, but you know what? One of my best mates, who's a man, he was madly in love with this girl at the bar we used to go to. I mean, absolutely besotted with her. And he was quite a confident guy. In fact, very similar to the guy we're talking about. Big ego, alpha male, player energy. And I said to him, why haven't you asked this girl out? And he said, oh, because she might say no. And it's, I just want to keep this beautiful fantasy and daydream. Once she says no, it's over. And this is kind of the energy this guy is in, that, once he has moved this into reality, he might be shattering his illusion, which he enjoys so much because it's his happy place. It makes him feel really good to imagine that there's someone out there that you could have this beautiful magical connection with, but he's really struggling to trust it and translate it into reality. The sickle is a really interesting card. I have to be honest with you, I don't read Lenormand, so I'm not sure of the traditional meaning for this, but I'm seeing how he's taking a sickle to this black rose, and the sickle, of course, it cuts things. We usually use it to cut down the wheat in fields and stuff. So it's about harvest, and it just feels like with this black rose and this number 10 that this is, and also I think this is the page of wands. Is diamonds wands or is club wands? I don't know. I don't know the playing card correspondences, but this is a page energy, which is also immature. And I think he's recognizing this need to tackle, his dark views about love. And there's some energy of completion here, of having arrived at a powerful conclusion about this. And this is what I'm saying. He is learning. He is paying attention. He's going through these kind of transitional energies. Now I'm going to get some more cards for you. I feel really guided to understand your situation better. I feel like it's going to help me with this reading. Okay, so 10 of Swords in reverse. This is really interesting. So this is about releasing the pain of betrayal. My gut feeling is that what happened here is that one of his parents left when he was in his formative years, in his adolescence. One or both of the parents has left, or there's been some horrific act of betrayal or conflict in the home that has literally just wounded him. It scared him off love for life. And he's still healing from this. He needs you to know that those wounds run deep. It may have been a parent that even left him. There was certainly a gross act of betrayal. If it wasn't the parents, there was something in his formative years that really made him feel like he'd been stabbed in the back, and he's never really moved on from this. Yeah, there's karma around that as well, which hasn't yet been resolved. And I do feel this is connected to his familial situation. And he doesn't even know that yet. You know, he hasn't recovered. He hasn't made peace with it. He hasn't had any kind of therapy. He's not had the tools with which to heal this, or even the awareness to recognize that it's something that needs to be healed. So this is a really confused person that's very detached from his emotional self. And I'm hearing you say, how can this person be my counterpart? You know, he feels so underdeveloped compared to you, so emotionally unaware, so youthful in his approach to love and his understanding of relationships. But it feels like he's asking you to please understand, please have compassion, please don't judge him, please recognize that he's just got this wounded teen energy that he hasn't been able to transcend. He doesn't want to shatter this illusion of things being great between you. As I said, he holds it in really high esteem. This person cares about you very much. You are literally like their fantasy woman. But, you know, their ego doesn't know how to let them have it and how to embrace it. I'm going to get some charms for you. I'm going to get some message cards as well. Okay, let's see what we've got here. The Game Boy. And he really is a little Game Boy, isn't he? Oh man, okay, we've also got, is Mercury in retrograde? Yes, it is. It is in retrograde right now, so there is a warning here about communication. We've got the little aeroplane, which carries a message of love. We've got the bottle, fix a broken heart. And we have the amethyst, which is all about intuition and dreams. I'm going to get some of these message cards for you as well. Now, these are messages from him, from his higher self, whatever it is you need to hear and know. Let's see what's coming up here. I am under no obligation to make sense to you. I don't know how to change things for the better. I'm trying to figure it out. Someone like you deserves so much more than someone like me. I turn everything into an argument because I don't know how to communicate. So this is this person's default response. When things get hairy and difficult and conflict looks to be on the horizon, or you're expressing dissatisfaction or making demands or challenging them to step up and behave in a different way, this person will immediately get defensive. Now, this is reminding me of that Cancerian energy. You know, they kind of snip, snip, snip. He's very defensive, okay? And this is because he's received very harsh criticism in his youth. He hasn't been taught to truly value himself. And so even though he presents as someone that thinks they're the king, deep down, he, of course, feels very, very vulnerable, which is why he has to wear this mask of being, you know, powerful. So I do think he's, you know, there's an apology in this as well. This person saying, listen, I know I really suck at this. I know my communication sucks, but I don't know how to have these conversations with you. I don't let relationships get so far that I'm having to have these adult conversations. They are warning signals for me. They are red flags to run. And I think he's stuck around with you longer than he normally would, but he just doesn't know how to deal with it. The Game Boy, I think, is so funny that this come up, because this guy, oh my God, I despair. I really do feel you. Because, you know, it is a game to him and you've got to forgive him. It's not that he doesn't respect you. It's not that he doesn't value you. It's that he doesn't know how to act any differently. This has been his default setting for a really long time. And he is quite indignant about this. You know, he's saying it's not my job to make sense to you or to explain myself to you. You know, I'm under no obligation to tell anyone who I am or to reveal myself to anyone. So he does feel very attached to this need for secrecy and privacy. He's not, you know, letting go. And of course, again, with communication, we've got his Mercury in retrograde. Now, at the time of me posting this reading, it is. And for those of you that are not familiar with Mercury, Mercury is the planet of communication. So when it's moving backwards, communication can be really, really challenging. And I feel this is coming up because he's really highlighting how challenging it is for him. Every day is like a Mercury retrograde for this guy, okay? He just absolutely dreads those deeper, meaningful conversations, and they cause him to run for the hills. I don't know how to change things for the better. I'm trying to figure it out. And I believe him when he says this. This guy's really messed up. And do you know what? If he just feels like a lovable rogue. I bet he's so charming and so funny and can be so endearing. But he's also maddening in his absolute refusal, reluctance, or perhaps just outright not knowing how to actually behave in any other way than what he's presenting. I just feel like with this little paper aeroplane with a little love message. You know, he is very focused on figuring it out. For me, this demonstrates a desire to communicate, a desire to send a message, a desire for this connection to take flight. But as I said, he just doesn't know. He's still figuring this out, and you're going to need to be patient with this guy. He does have a tendency to use substances or alcohol as a coping mechanism to soothe his heart. In fact, he may have some really unhealthy addictions or codependent behaviours. I'm hearing as well that he bottles up his feelings. He's never actually released them. Again, he's never had therapy. He's never had to talk to someone in a deep way. He's much more comfortable living life in the shallow end of the swimming pool. You know, he just wants everything to be at a surface level. What you see is what you get. Let's not go deep. We don't have to dig around there. And so I just feel like he really, you know, what's so straightforward to you, and I feel like you're a powerful communicator, or at least certainly better than him, you know, he's really trying to drive home here, this is not natural for me. I have no experience of this, and I really need you to be patient. And look, he really does recognise that you are something special, and he really does feel like he doesn't deserve you, and that you deserve someone that's so much more than he is. And again, it was like that story I told you about my friend. You know, he's convinced himself that people like him don't end up with people like you. And so again, it's easier for him to keep this as a beautiful fantasy. Amethyst, the stone of intuition and dreams. I'm hearing you stalk this person's dreams. You are in his mind, in his dreams, in his daydreams, in his fantasies, and he likes that. I'm hearing he likes that. I'm hearing that's the part of this connection he lovingly embraces and accepts because it's safe. And so this is where you can really nurture your connection, to recognise that you're not really separate from this person, that in real terms, energetically speaking, you're always together and you're always on his mind just as you're always on his. So what guidance does this higher self want to offer you? Let's have a look. Your higher mission involves helping others to learn by your mistakes and pain. Boundaries, not barriers. Dream big. Your thoughts equal creation, and accept all that transpires and trust the divine plan. So I hate to break this to you as a tea party, but there's a reason that this relationship is so challenging, and that maybe your life has been very challenging, because actually you're going to need to learn by all of these mistakes, to learn through this pain, because you have a mission to be able to communicate the solutions, the ways forward to others. You know, you're a very caring, loving, empathic person, and you also have an ability to communicate in a very empowering way. This is one of the things that attracted this guy to you. And, you know, this is part of your life path. It's part of your higher mission to help others who are experiencing what you have already experienced. Accept all that transpires and trust the divine plan. You know, this is the universe saying, trust this has purpose. I know you're mad, you're hopping mad, that you're having to go through this challenge, and you're like, my God, why do I have to fall in love with a guy like this? Why do I always choose unavailable people? Why do I always pick the player, the person that doesn't want to commit? When's it my turn to settle down? I feel all of that. Okay, I truly understand. But spirit and your person's higher self is saying, just accept this. This serves us. This is about you learning some really important lessons about men, about women, about relationships, and all the stuff in between, because you're going to communicate this to others in a way that's going to help moving forward. He's asking you to recognize that you need boundaries, not barriers. And I feel like because this person plays the game so hard, that you have also fallen into a pattern of playing the game hard, and it really doesn't serve you. So you need to really do some studying around what healthy boundaries are. And you also need to be aware of how those boundaries are a bit more permeable when you're involved in a soul connection. Okay? You're not meant to let go. You can step away when you need to assert your boundaries, but you're not meant to let go, which is a barrier, it's a full stop, isn't it? Dream big, your thoughts equals creation. I feel like this person's asking you to step into faith and to recognize that it's your faith that has the power to move this connection forward and manifest the kind of relationship you want. We're always taught that we can't manifest other people, but through your own energy and the energy of faith, you're going to inspire this person to start healing and to start understanding. So you are on the right track. Stay in faith, connect with the vortex. I feel like you've already done a lot of research around manifestation. Now is the time to really put it into action so that you can start manifesting the energy you want to be in to make this relationship happen. So I really hope that helped, Paul. 2, you are adorable for staying tuned. Thank you so much. Please do hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon if you want to get a notification every time I send out some fab new videos. And don't forget to subscribe to my website so you can be updated when I announce new classes and more private bookings. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Way of the Panda Tarot and this lovely rose quartz point. Please excuse my friend Derek here. I have tried to shift him over, but that's as far as he's prepared to go right now. But I think it's always good luck to have a feline friend here joining us. Anyway, I'm going to shuffle. Please be reminded that I do read with reversals and that this method of shuffling, riffle shuffling, will turn some of the cards upside down. A lot of people have commented about my reversals recently. They're not a bad thing, and it's how I read. It just gives more depth and meaning to the cards I'm pulling, so please don't fear them. But whilst I'm shuffling, thank you for joining us. We are asking today, what does your person really want you to know? This isn't like lovey-dovey messages from your person. I don't think my readings were ever like that anyway. But I felt really guided. I wasn't actually going to do this reading today. I was going to do the you and them one, which I'll probably do tomorrow now. But I really felt guided to bring forward these messages from your divine masculine's higher self. Now, you don't have to be a twin flame for this reading to be for you. It's not just for twins and soulmates. It's for everyone that is trying to learn about healthier relationships and to figure out what the hell is going on in their connection. And let's face it, there's lots of us in that boat. But yeah, we want to know, what does your person really want to say that they're too afraid to? Or perhaps even the messages that sit beneath their conscious awareness. You know, these are not just messages from them, it's from their higher self, the part of them that is a bit more worldly and wise and that understands with a bit more clarity. And these messages are just intended to reassure you and to help you find the right way forward, to understand them a bit better. So let's do this. This is a beautiful deck that you've chosen. I love this tarot deck. Oh, look at that. There's a card in here that shouldn't have been in there. This is one of the cards I've written on myself. I've got to see what it says. I am ready. Are you? Wow. What a powerful first card for you guys, Pile 3. This is lovely. Okay. One more shuffle and then we're going to pull some cards. What does this person really need you to know? What do they want to say to you that they're too afraid to say or they can't say, or perhaps they don't even realise they need to say? It could be stuff they don't truly consciously understand yet. Right. We have got the 5 of Cups and the 4 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles. The Knight of Wands. Whoop. The Page of Pentacles in reverse. The 9 of Wands in reverse. The Hierophant. And the King of Swords. Okay, I'm going to get some oracle cards as well for you guys. We're going to pull charms and messages later too. So let's get these oracle cards. This is the musical oracle. It was a gift from a lovely student, Vera. Thank you, Vera. We have got share. Nothing becomes a legend more than not giving a damn. David Bowie, never lower your mask until you have another ready beneath. Diana Ross, make sure they never see the last of you. And James Brown, knock 'em dead then leave. Oh, Pile 3. Your person, he's a 1, huh? Okay, from this lovely Lenormand deck that arrived as a mystery gift in the post, thank you to whoever sent me this. We're going to choose some of these as well. We have got the Child, the Rider, the Crossroads, and the Ring. you know what? This is the energy of surrender. But there's a lot of pride in the way here. Fear and pride is what I'm hearing. But I feel like you guys have known each other a really long time. And this whole back and forward, are we together, are we not? One of you's running, the other one's running, we're back together again. I feel like this has been going on for a really long time for you guys. Now, I feel like this person hasn't been in a good place for a long while. They probably struggle with their mental health. There's a lot of insecurities and fears connected to this because they think they're not good enough, that you need someone stronger. And they have been really difficult with you in the past. I feel like this person has a tendency to be exceptionally cold and cutting when they're trying to push you away. But there is a message here that they want you to understand that they really are pushing you away. They're not speaking authentically. They're saying things that they know are going to trigger you to get lost, because they just get so convinced you're going to leave them that you know, it's like, guys do this, right? They're like, she's going to leave anyway, so I'm just going to piss her off so that she does that. And you know, we don't have to, this doesn't have to be a long drawn out process. But it does feel like this is such an interesting Five of Cups, because normally the Five of Cups features a person in mourning, sitting in regret. They're on their own. They're very focused on these three spilled cups, and they're kind of completely self-absorbed in their grief and their pain. This Five of Cups is a different story. It's actually quite beautiful. You see this couple coming together, and these two cups, which represent new love, transformation, authenticity, all lit up for us here. I'm hearing that this person has put some of their destructive behaviours behind them, and this may have been alcohol. In fact, alcohol's come up in every pile today. But it just feels like this person has surrendered. They're kind of like, no matter what they've done, no matter how hard they've run, no matter how hard they've tried to resist this connection, they can't let you go. This is the energy of real endurance that has really kind of triggered this person to recognize that there is something very deep and meaningful here. And so the attitude is, well, if I can't walk away, I may as well face it, even though that's hard, even though I'm scared, even though she's probably going to dump me. So all of a sudden there's this energy of courage, surrender and acceptance. They do owe you an apology, and I feel like this person's saying, look, I'm really bad at that, okay? I was never taught to apologise. I don't know how to apologise. This is the sort of person that says, I'm sorry you're not feeling good, rather than I'm sorry that my behaviour has upset you. You know, they're not able to take responsibility or to be accountable for their actions. But they're asking you to recognise that in childhood they were really beaten up, not necessarily literally, but beaten up emotionally for their mistakes. And so they're hypersensitive to criticism, even if it's constructive. It's very, very triggering for them. And this person generally is oblivious to how they've upset you. They're genuinely oblivious to how they ought to apologise. They know they shouldn't run away from you. And I feel like something that they are able to step up and own. I'm sorry I left. I'm sorry I didn't call. But generally speaking, they can't smell their own shit. You know, this person is quite oblivious to how hurtful some of their behaviours can be. They're also very possessive. I do pick up on the energy of massive insecurity and codependence with this person. You know, they don't like you having male friends. They may get annoyed if you speak to a male person in a shop or a bar. That could be reversed. Sorry, I get stuck on these specific gender pronouns. But of course, if I'm saying he, please feel free to switch it to a she if that's what you're dealing with. But this person is definitely quite possessive, and they really have tried hard to move on from you, but they just can't bear the thought of being without you or the thought of you being with someone else. And this has kind of acted as enough of a driver for them to face up and step in. So I do feel like this person may have recently come back on the scene. They could still be demonstrating all of these very flighty, unpredictable behaviours, but this reading is coming to you today to say they have learned a lesson, and that they're actually a lot more anchored in the present now. They're a lot more anchored in the desire to actually make this work. The Six of Pentacles is about reciprocity, and what we're actually seeing here, even though it's normally about, you see this man normally giving money to two beggars and he's trying to balance that. Here we just see this beautiful family unit. Some of you may be a single parent that already have kids, but he feels like this is where he can show his value, to step into your life and offer some kind of stability and comfort for you and your kids. If it's not kids, it's definitely some kind of family stuff that you find challenging. He's seeing where he can slot in and where he can add value. And look at this, he's listening. Okay, he's starting to discharge. This is the energy of the past on the left, and you can see it's just foggy and grey. And here, the energy of the present or the future is all colourful. He's got such a broader perspective now, a more optimistic perspective. He's letting go of the challenges of the past and at least stepping into the idea that there could be a different way forward. There's a tremendous amount of growth here. And I feel like with these glasses, he's looking more carefully. And, with these this collar and tie, this white collar, perhaps even changing careers or starting to take his career seriously so that he can show up and reciprocate in some way. What he's doing is digging deep to recognize the value he is able to contribute now. He knows for the most part what some of his shortcomings are, but he's trying to be a man. He's trying to... And again, I'm sorry I keep using the masculine gender pronoun. This could be a woman. But either way, they're trying to step into that provider, protector role. A lot of this is about ego. They're trying to anchor their self-worth in this relationship somewhere. But as I said, this Knight of Wands, they may still present as this very flighty, unpredictable energy. And these are the shadow aspects that they are dealing with. I'm hearing the fight or flight response is really strong for this person. This is the shadow aspect they sit in. This is what they're dealing with. And I'm guided to these autumn leaves here. This is what they're trying to let go of and release. They're seeing this about themselves now. And again, look how serious this panda looks with his tie. Okay, he's got his sword of truth, he's got his crown on. This person has some clarity. They're recognizing the clouds that block them from the sun, from happiness, and they really want to figure it out and learn. They're starting to communicate about this. I feel like this person may be more receptive to therapy, to couples therapy, or at least to learning. They're finally seeing that they've got to grow up, they've got to step up, and if they want to keep you, and it's 11-11 as I said that, they have to start doing something different. So this person is as ready as they will ever be. What they're saying is, let's collaborate on this now, let's heal together. Please give me a chance. I know I have my shortcomings, but I really want to try my best. I don't always trust myself to show up in the way you need me to. I recognise that there's still this kind of unpredictable, fiery energy about me, but I'm trying really hard to overcome that. I think the music cards that came up here are very revealing. Nothing becomes a legend more than not giving a damn. Never lowering your mask until you have another ready beneath. Make sure they never see the last of you. And knock them dead, then leave. These are the energies which I feel you're most afraid of and which they are now aware of. They're recognising that they can't just, keep leaving you. That I feel like they genuinely recognise that you're at the end of your tether with that, and that they need to really be a bit more stable and show up. And it feels like this person's being a bit more consistent with that. They're maybe not showing up in the way you really need. The way they're showing up may be challenging, but they are showing up. They're showing you that, okay, I'm just going to stop running at least. I'm going to stand firm and face this even when it's uncomfortable for me. This person's not used to releasing their mask. And it does feel like this, never lower your mask until you have another one ready beneath. For me, this is about them, peeling back layers. They're not able to take that costume off all at once. They're not able to do this big reveals of, ta-da, this is who I am. This is the energy of them having to work at their own pace. And they're asking for your understanding with this because they don't really know how to be vulnerable and how to present their true self. They don't really know who their true self is what I'm hearing. They've been in this energy for so long that they've lost sight of the truth of who they are. And so they're peeling back these layers, and it might just keep revealing another mask and another mask. And I feel like it's really important that this was communicated to you so you can recognise that it's not personal. It's not them trying to pull the wool over your eyes or to create some illusion. It's just how they're rediscovering themselves, and that it's almost like uncovering these different facets of self as they go. And so they're not trying to be coercive or manipulative or not showing you their true self. They're just finding their true self. They're still doing that. Nothing becomes a legend more than not giving a damn. And I'm hearing that this has been this person's defense mechanism. If you don't care, it can't bother you. And so they're very good at closing off their heart space. They're very good at pretending they really don't give a shit. Now that's very painful energy to deal with, but you have to understand that this is this person's default response to stress, rejection fear and abandonment fear. If they think they're going to get burned, they're going to step into that I don't care energy. And so again, this person is saying, I don't know how to communicate this. This is stuff that I don't even understand about myself in my 3D life. You know, it's their higher self bringing this information forward because they believe that you can understand, and that it's going to help you develop more patience and more understanding so that you guys can both move forward. I'm also hearing that, listen, deep down underneath all of this, I am the man you want, and I believe I can be the man that you need, but you've got to give me a chance to grow, and I really want us to do this together. Are you ready to accept me as I am? Because I'm showing up ready to collaborate and ready to heal, and I'm not really sure that you're as ready for me, and I know that I'm a handful, that I'm really challenging, but I'm trying to help you understand me so that you're not taking it so that you're not taking it personally, and so that you're not misinterpreting my behaviours as a lack of care. This is just my knee-jerk reaction. Lovers come and lovers go, but sequins are forever. So again, this is that person's really playful energy. Now, there was a lot of game player energy in part 2, so if this resonates, part 2 might for you as well. Maybe an earlier date that might relate more to your past, because I feel like this person has been in that kind of player, showbiz, wear a mask, have a different character. They may even literally dress up. I'm hearing for some of you, like literally have an alias or something like that. Make sure they never see the last of you. You can be a better you than anyone else. Yeah. So this for me is their intentions now. You know, that this is a job worth doing. It says here it's worth doing in a ball gown as well. You know, they are going to show up, and I feel like they're really trying very hard to show you how committed they are to showing up, how committed they are to making this work. I really do feel like this with this person. They don't know how. They're really scared that they won't be able to measure up to what you need and want, but they're really going to try hard. We've got the child and the rider here. I do think there's some deep inner child wounds. As I said, this person's been really castigated, really bullied by their caregivers. Criticism was never constructive in their home or in their upbringing. And so they do have this hyper defensiveness. They do need some of this inner child therapy. They need to start recognizing that therein lies the key to their transformation. And I feel this is something that perhaps you can communicate to them will help bring more balance and stability, not just to your situation or your connection, but also to their feelings, you know, to help them not feel so defensive and attacked every time, you know, any criticism is brought to the surface, because sometimes constructive criticism is necessary, and we really do have to develop the ability to self-reflect and to own our mistakes without, you know, if we run from our mistakes, we're not learning. We have to be able to look at them with compassion and without judgment. This person's only used to judgment, and so there is a call to action here for you to recognize that when you're angry with them, you've got to try and approach it from a place of compassion. Anger is never a positive energy. Spite, resentment, regret, annoyance, these are all energies which you're perfectly entitled to feel, but that have no value when they're brought into communication and conversation, particularly where it's concerned someone else's behaviours that you're trying to get them to see and adjust. So you're being asked as well to recognise that your criticism, however constructive, is always going to be really difficult for them to receive, and that perhaps you can help them start to overcome that, as well as standing recognition of that challenge for them. This is one of their greatest weaknesses, I'm hearing, and I know it makes you really mad. As I said at the beginning, this person isn't good at owning their own shit. They're not good at apologising. They really can't see past the end of their own nose, but they are motivated to move forward. There's a need here for them to travel into the past, to develop the confidence and self-worth that they didn't receive in childhood. This is a Nine of Cups card here as well, the Rider. And the horse for me is a symbol of purity. So this really is a return to innocence, a return to recognizing, you were always a good person, but you were made to feel that you weren't. And you're so sick of hearing that you're not enough that you're now hypersensitive to it. Let's see if we can take you back, to resolve those childhood wounds so that you can be more receptive and more receptive to the recognition that none of us are perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to own up to them and to reflect on them and to move on from them and learn from them. This crossroads, I'm hearing this is you at the crossroads. I'm hearing that, they've given you so much trouble and so much running and so much up and down, unpredictable behaviours that you're now in this energy of not knowing what you want, and they feel that. But they want commitment now is what I'm hearing. We've got the ring here, there's a red rose, and look at this. This is kind of like a beast presenting the red flower. They're turning up and they know they're not their best selves. They know that you're so worthy of something big and wonderful, and they're probably not it, but they want it. They want to make that commitment to you, and they're really hoping that you can accept them. But they do sense and feel your indecision, and they understand. But they're also saying, this is probably no less than I deserve after the unpredictable behaviours and lack of consistency I've presented to you. But this is my greatest fear, that you are now indecisive about me. It's like the tables have turned. I wish I didn't have to be me anymore. This person really does have deep, deep self-worth issues. Let's get some charms here. So we have got Wizard in Training, Lit the Light Bulb. We've got Save Yourself, FU, and Empower. So I do feel like this person has maybe been very condescending about your spiritual beliefs, about your intuition. And I'm hearing this isn't because they don't believe you, it's because they're threatened by it. And they're kind of in this energy of actually being very intrigued and very inquisitive about what you're doing. I feel like introducing this person to the right documentaries, programs, videos, or books is going to help them understand a bit more where you're coming from. And I feel like you need to present manifestation and the law of attraction to them first. This is something that's really going to empower them to embody their own potential, I guess. They need ideas. We've got this lit here, because you really do light them up. They trust you. They're inspired by you. They need ideas. That's what I'm hearing. They need some kind of inspired push in the right direction. But they are saying, you've got to save yourself. And I think for me, this is about both of you taking responsibility for your triggers and the wounds that present when you guys are communicating. They're asking you not to F off. They're saying, I'm stepping out of this energy. There's a blank in me. This is the energy I was so comfortable with, but right now there's missing pieces. I can't get into that energy of wanting to leave, and I'm very afraid that you're going to leave me. This is this crossroads energy. For me, this is about them erasing who they used to be. This person that didn't give a shit. Yeah, this person that was just like, oh, F you, whatever. I don't care. They're stepping out of that. They're erasing that part of themselves, and they just need you to know that they do take that very seriously. Empower. And look at that. There's that Ankh, that divine feminine symbol there. I think this is about respect and gratitude. This person's saying, please don't underestimate how much you have empowered me to shift and change. And I really hope it's not too late. I really hope that, we can move forward together, that we can collaborate, and that we can make this work. I'm still unlearning toxic behaviors. I'm not good enough yet. You have been hurt so much that you project your toxic expectations onto me, and I didn't think love was real until I met you. Now, I do feel like they're talking about themselves. It's them that hurt you so much, and so no wonder that when they trigger you, you're expecting all of these toxic behaviours that they've you know, that they've put on your plate in the past, and that's perfectly understandable. They're demonstrating understanding of that, and I think saying, you know, I can be patient too, but I am still unlearning those toxic behaviours. I'm not good enough yet, but I really want to try and make this work because, you know, I recognise that this love is really special. You know, I didn't believe in love till I met you, and now love is changing everything for me. I feel guided to get one more. I'm angry and I don't even know why. I'm telling you now, this is that inner child stuff. You know, this person is angry. They're not angry with you. They're angry at life. They're angry at themselves. They don't feel good enough. They don't want to be them anymore. You know, they just wish they were someone better, someone different. And I feel guided that, you know, you can reassure them that they can be anyone they want, that we choose our energy, we choose our behaviours. Yes, we have to override our programming and our conditioning, but that's not impossible. It's entirely achievable. Love knows no separation. Your soul is calling you, answer the call. You are what you do, not what you say, and your words and actions are not the truth. Your energy is the truth. Energy doesn't lie. So these are messages for you. This is your guidance. And I feel like love knows no separation. I feel like there's an incredible amount of regret and resentment built up from them having walked away so many times before. And I feel like you're being called back to the truth that separation is genuinely an illusion, and that in the cases that it occurred, it served you. It wasn't a reflection of their love for you. It was a reflection of how they felt about themselves and their inability to be worthy and to show up for something deep and meaningful. Your soul is answering the call, is also guiding you towards the idea that this is a spiritual connection and that you really need to pay attention to that call of your soul. This invitation to reconnect with the truth of who you are and to find your spiritual truth. You've probably always been very spiritual, but I'm feeling that you probably haven't indulged that interest and really explored what spirituality means to you and how it connects to you. And I'm hearing that now is the time. And this is where you're going to receive all of that inspired guidance. It's literally going to light up your world and theirs. You know, this is how you're going to save yourselves. This is how you're going to get well. These two cards are really interesting because for me, these demonstrate that you're not being entirely honest with yourself. You know, you are what you do, not what you say. And this came up in one of my readings the other day. When we read the manual, we can really lull ourselves into this sense of security that we've learned something. I've read the book, I've read the manual cover to cover, I've been over it and over it again and again. I know what I'm doing now. But in truth, it's only when we're challenged to put that learning into practice that we really start to figure out how much we have truly learned. And it came up in another reading earlier, knowing isn't being. Knowing is half the battle won, but we have to integrate that new knowing into our being. Changing behaviours is really difficult. And so what I'm hearing with this is that you often have expectations of him based on what you've learned that you can't actually fulfill yourself. So just because you have this new set of beliefs and this new understanding about relationships, you've got to be mindful that you're not always walking the talk and that actually you are what you do, not what you say. You can't say, I'm not codependent, and then bash him for not calling you back straight away, responding to all of your text messages in super quick time. Okay, that's a contradiction. And so you're really being called to recognize how your own behaviors aren't matching up to your new values so that you can keep working on that. It's not about shaming you. It's about helping you understand that there's still some more practice that's needed here. You're both learning. You're both learning practically at this stage as well. Your words and actions are not the truth. Your energy is the truth. Energy doesn't lie. And for me, this is really the same message, you know. It doesn't matter what you say or what you do, the energy underneath it has to be true. And I always say, you know, if you're playing it cool, you might be ignoring his calls and telling him you don't care. But if that isn't aligned with your truth, it's not really going to have the impact that you desire. And that goes for everything. You know, if you're telling someone that you're going to do something and you're sounding really sincere and then you're demonstrating those behaviors, if they're not really sincere, if there's the energy of resentment or frustration underneath them, they're not going to have the desired outcome. So there's a real need for you to become aware of your own limitations at this stage, because that's what's going to help you overcome all of that early conditioning and programming that is keeping you stuck. That again is that in-between place. You've learned, there's this new sense of knowing, but now you have to navigate that in-between stage until you arrive at the new way of being, and that takes practice. And this is what you guys are doing here in this connection right now. I have to be honest with you, this guy sounds like a real handful. As I said, he's not as evolved as you. He's underdeveloped and he doesn't always understand. But one thing I will say to him is that this person is now really committed, really determined to try and be the best they can be. They're going to stumble, they're going to fall, and they're hoping that you can stick with them while they work it out, because this person really wants to be with you. You're the love of their life. So I really hope that helped pile 3. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hitting the like button. I appreciate that so much. And if you would like to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so that you will get an update every time I post. And if you would like a private reading with me, or you would like to find out more about my fabulous classes, you can check out my website at www.happysouls1111.com. All that information is in the description box below. I will see you next time, Happy Souls. Thank you so much. Bye.